when I saw my ex-wife again. She had acquired the company I worked for. She had become my boss. Before, she had abandoned me countless times, running around for her true love. It was also because of that man that we got divorced. Tonight we have a team-building event with the branch office. Only pretty girls are coming. Single guys, don't miss this chance, the team leader shouted, and colleagues eagerly signed up. Everyone knew this was a matchmaking event organized by the company. Just as I was signing off and getting ready to pack up, my ex-wife appeared. Matthew, get ready. You're working overtime tonight. She immediately scratched my name off the list, dragged me into her office. The door slammed shut, and she pulled my tie, pinning me against the desk. They can do it, but not you. If I catch you sneaking out for a matchmaking event, I'll cut you down. Chapter 1. Monica's haughty tone stirred up memories in my mind. Anger surged in my chest. What does that have to do with you? I pushed her away and stormed out of the office. My colleague Luis saw me come out and came over. Matthew, what did you do to offend the CEO? Why is she always picking on you? I shook my head, sitting at my desk, signaling that I didn't know. That's strange. Luis suddenly changed his tone and lowered his voice. Could it be that she's into you? Maybe she's trying to get your attention on purpose. As soon as he said that, several colleagues started gossiping. One female colleague said, Luis makes sense. She always asks you to stay behind and work overtime with her. That's true. Last time, she even told us to leave the red bean mooncakes for you. I said impatiently, stop gossiping. She has a boyfriend. She's almost getting remarried. I quickly packed my bag, clocked out, and waited for the elevator. In the elevator, a few colleagues asked, Matthew, how do you know that? Bro, is it true? Remarried? Of course, it's true. I'm the ex-husband who got cheated on for 5 years. I nodded, turned, and left, leaving the rest for my colleagues to guess. Chapter 2. I thought seeing my ex-wife again would make me feel down, but in reality, my heart no longer stirred for Monica. We had been married for 5 years, plus 4 years of dating. Altogether, it had been 9 years. Indeed, according to the relationship, we didn't make it to the 7-year itch, but if you count it as a whole, we did survive the 7-year itch. Yet in the end, we still parted ways, didn't we? The moment my heart completely died was on our 5th anniversary. That day, she booked the Twin Towers for her true love, playing a 24-hour loop celebrating the return of her beloved. At night, there was an incredible light show created by countless drones in the sky, showcasing the most beautiful lights. The trending topic was the passionate kiss beneath the light show, surrounded by countless roses. It was a celebration of their love, with netizens sending 99 wishes. Even the official account of the Twin Towers posted about them, Golden Boy and Jade Maiden. A perfect match. May they grow old together. On one side, countless people praised their love. On the other side, I was in the hospital taking care of her father. The roses symbolizing love, the stunning drone light show, the passionate atmosphere, they had nothing to do with me. So this is what Monica meant by, I won't be back tonight. I thought I had already controlled myself, but my eyes still welled up. When her father saw me, he sighed. I suddenly looked up, realizing he had just said he was going to check the weather forecast on his phone. Of course, with the trending topic, the app pushed notifications. How could he not see it? Matthew, forget it. Let go of yourself. She's not worth it. Get a divorce. I thought her father was comforting me by telling me not to care, but I didn't expect him to say, get a divorce. Dad, just take care of your health. Everything else doesn't matter. Even though he was my father-in-law, he treated me very well, and I wanted him to get better. As for the divorce, that was between Monica and me. I didn't want him to worry about it anymore, but he waved his hand. Matthew, I don't have much time left. If you two get divorced, I'll have no regrets. I shouldn't have let you into this fire pit. I can't manage her, but your life is still long. Do it for yourself. The old man shakily took out a card from the cupboard, along with a donation declaration, and handed it to me. I quickly refused, but he interrupted me. She hasn't visited me even once during my stay here. This is what you deserve for taking care of me. Don't worry, I've saved money for you. If you don't take it, I won't rest easy. He wouldn't let me refuse and pushed the card into my hand, urging me to leave. Go back. There's a caregiver tonight. Hurry up and get that divorce. Leaving the hospital room, I sat in the car and took out my phone. After hesitating for a moment, all the old memories flashed before my eyes. When did it start? I had never truly let go. I was just lying to myself, telling myself that they had already ended. It was the only way I could feel better. When I thought about it carefully, I realized I had been deceiving myself. Chapter 3. I took out my phone and called her, dialing 7 times, all of which were hung up. Each hang-up only strengthened my resolve. Finally, the call connected. On the other end, her distant, cold voice still echoed. Speak. I had intended to go straight to the point, but when I opened my mouth, it became, where are you? Overtime. Her response was unsurprising. Even though I could hear the laughter of her idol, Stephen. In the background, I sighed, cursing myself internally. I already knew. So why am I lowering myself to this? Monica. Tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau for the divorce. There was a pause on the other end, her voice tinged with impatience. Is this how it's going to be now? If you want a divorce agreement, I can send it to you. You can take it with you tomorrow. After saying this, I hung up the phone and drove back home. I took out my suitcase and began packing, determined to only take my things. As I began packing, I realized just how much there was, and most of it was my own one-sided wishful thinking. Couple toothbrushes, couple clothing, couple jewelry. She had never used them, many still unopened. Love and indifference are truly apparent. She had never loved me, so I couldn't even recognize such simple things. Even our wedding photos were like this. In the pictures, I smiled while she had a cold face. There was a distance between us, just like our relationship, where she never wanted to get close to me, not even a little. I went to the house we bought before marriage, tidied up my things, and started thinking about what I was missing and what I needed to get. That night, I slept soundly. The next morning, the sunlight poured into the bedroom, making it incredibly comfortable. I packed up and left for the Civil Affairs Bureau. When I arrived, I parked the car and waited for Monica in the lobby. I took out my phone and saw a post from her idol, Stephen, with a 9-grid photo. There were roses, wedding rings, intimate kissing photos, and hotel room details, and a caption, "After all this time, you're still the one." I silently took a screenshot, thinking I would be devastated. But surprisingly, in just one night, my heart had changed completely. Saying I wasn't hurt would be a lie, but it wasn't as much as I thought. The latest evidence of her affair came to me. How could I not take it? I waited at the Civil Affairs Bureau from morning until the staff finished their shifts at noon, but Monica never showed up. A staff member came up to me. "Sir, we close at 11:30 for lunch, and we don't process any business during break." I nodded. "It's okay." Perhaps seeing me waiting for divorce processing, the staff member kindly suggested, "Maybe she doesn't want to divorce. You should talk to her again." I shook my head. "She's probably still in bed with her lover." The staff member was stunned, but I didn't want any further advice. I took out my phone and called Monica again. This time, it connected immediately. "What's the matter?" "I'm at the Civil Affairs Bureau. When are you coming?" She paused for a moment, sensing my tone was unfriendly. "I'm busy. We'll talk tonight at home." She hung up immediately. I was about to leave when the staff member suddenly said, "If she doesn't show up, you can file for an online divorce." Then, they pointed to a sign far away. "Thanks." After lunch, I followed the sign's instructions, uploaded my information, and filed for a lawsuit. In the afternoon, I went to the supermarket to buy some essentials. By the time I finished, it was already dark. Just as I was about to order takeout and sit down, Monica's call came in. I answered, and her tone was impatient. "Why aren't you back yet?" "Back yet? Didn't you just get home?" But then it clicked. I hadn't taken much, so it was normal she didn't notice. After hearing me silent, she continued, "I bought you a gift." "You?" I interrupted her and asked, "Did you get the subpoena?" "What subpoena?" "The court subpoena. If you won't come for the divorce, I had to apply for a divorce lawsuit." "I've already received the notice." "You should have gotten it by now." "Matthew, are you crazy? Why the hell are we getting divorced? Since you two are being open about it, you should give him a proper status. Isn't it nice that I'm making things easier for you? Hurry up and sign the papers." After saying this, I hung up the phone. I had already made up my mind to get a divorce, so why say more? Now, the priority was ordering takeout and having a meal. About half an hour later, I heard footsteps outside the door. I was about to stand up to greet my takeout, but suddenly stopped. Those were the sounds of high heels. The door clicked open, and Monica walked in. She was wearing a wine-red long dress, graceful in posture, and her brown curly hair made her look even more charming. If not for the gloomy expression on her face, surrounded by anger, anyone would have thought she looked like a beautiful woman. In the past, when she showed this expression, I couldn't help but approach her and try to coax her. No matter who was right or wrong, she was always high above, like an unreachable moon, and I was the dark, self-deprecating one. Now, looking at her, I felt nothing. The power of a filter is truly incredible. I believe that walking out of the shadows will be within reach soon. Her arrival reminded me of something very important. Change the password. Oh no, better change the lock entirely. Chapter 4. Monica walked in, bringing with her the scent of jasmine perfume that seemed to fill the air. I unconsciously frowned. This wasn't the perfume she used, but the one Stephen wore. Perhaps they had gotten too close, and the scent inevitably rubbed off on her. She handed me a box and then opened it. Inside lay a Rolex green Submariner. I merely glanced at it indifferently. She was always doing this. After any argument, she would throw me a so-called gift, and that would make everything seem fine again. The next day, everything would be back to normal. but she probably didn't even remember it was the same gift. And this was the fourth time now. Seeing my attitude, Monica's face darkened. In her mind, she had extended an olive branch, but I wasn't taking it. She thought I was being ungrateful. Have you signed? Or do you think there's something to split in terms of finances? I didn't understand why Monica was stalling. In reality, there was no financial split to be done. We had already signed a prenuptial agreement before marriage. This was probably thanks to Monica's best friend, Eva. As her best friend, it was natural for Eva to dislike me, and it was also normal for her to try and match Monica up with Steven. When we got married, Eva had suggested a prenuptial agreement, which was obviously to prevent me from claiming any assets if Monica decided to divorce me in the future. Now, this made my divorce process easier. All Monica had to do was sign the papers. Steven's back. What's wrong with us throwing him a welcome banquet? No problem. Then what are you upset about? How does throwing a welcome banquet for him have anything to do with our divorce? That was the first time I confronted Monica. She stared at me in surprise, then sneered. Is this because I didn't invite you to Steven's welcome banquet yesterday? You think I'm playing some kind of game? Like in those novels where people use teasing to manipulate others. Why didn't I invite you? Don't you know? Every time you act cold and ruin the mood around Steven. What's the point of bringing you along? Her words were filled with anger and accusation. I didn't want to argue, so I responded. Since there's no disputed financial split, just sign the papers already. After I said that, the air was filled with an awkward silence. A long time passed before Monica gritted her teeth and spoke. I know you're throwing a tantrum because I didn't take you to the banquet. How about this? Tomorrow night, we'll host, and we'll invite them over for dinner. Make sure the dishes are ready. Oh, and Steven doesn't eat cilantro. Don't get it wrong. Without looking at me again, Monica turned and left the house. I rubbed my forehead, massaging the swollen area between my brows. Was this even the thought process of a normal person? She really thought I was a servant and a cook. After finishing my takeout, I took out my phone and looked at the courts app. Without hesitation, I clicked on the File for Judgment option. I really had to thank the new regulations. I could avoid the divorce cooling off period and skip the step of both parties signing the agreement. Now, I just had to wait for the court to accept my application once they started work on Sunday. The fastest judgment would come in 24 hours, and the slowest could take up to half a month. Chapter 5. The next day, I finally finished gathering all the things I needed for the small house, including replacing the lock on the door and setting a new password. It was 4:30 p.m. I was preparing dinner when my phone rang nonstop. It was the ringtone I had set specifically for Monica. I pressed the mute button and continued with what I was doing. About half an hour later, I had finished prepping the ingredients and looked at my phone. It was filled with missed calls and messages. Another call came in, and I decided to answer it. My phone had been occupied. What if I missed an urgent work call? Matthew, are you crazy? Where are you? At home. At home. I can't find you. Everyone is here. Why haven't you finished the food? Forget it. If I wait for you to cook, I don't know how late it'll be. Come to the Glee restaurant now. Right now. Otherwise, don't expect me to sign. She hung up directly. After thinking for a moment, I decided to go. I had no other thoughts. I just felt that if she signed, the divorce would go faster. With a lawsuit divorce, there were some steps that could be skipped, saving a lot of time. Following the message details, I brought the signed divorce agreement to the Glee restaurant. The private room was already full, and when I pushed open the door, there was an eerie silence. I looked around and saw there was no seat for me. I looked up at Monica, but Steven, who was sitting next to her, immediately waved a waiter over to add a chair and some utensils for me. Once seated, Eva began to mock, speaking indirectly. This restaurant's decor could use an upgrade. The table for 12 is now a table for 13. It's too cramped. Everyone around the table, their friends, looked on with curious expressions. Monica remained silent, but Steven tried to smooth things over. It's fine. A little crowded makes it lively. After a few rounds of drinks, they started playing Truth or Dare. The bottle pointed to Steven, and he chose Truth. The others immediately began to tease him. Eva shot me a provocative glance, then asked Steven, "So, who did you come back for?" Steven looked slightly embarrassed, then mustered the courage to answer, "I came back for Monica." Afterward, he shot me a glance, his eyes full of provocation. Eva, feeling the effects of the alcohol, immediately chimed in, Oh, it's true love, Monica. I have to say, it wasn't your fault you two missed each other before. Now setting things right is the right thing to do. Oh, so I'm the one who went astray, and Steven is the guiding light." Steven smiled, looking at Monica with a loving gaze. "At the time, my mom was sick and needed urgent treatment abroad. I was afraid of delaying you, so I broke up with you, which led to our separation." From the moment Steven began speaking, Monica's eyes never stopped sparkling with anticipation, an anticipation that had never been directed at me. Watching this reunion of the perfect couple, A smile slowly crept onto my face. It was as if I was the one who heartlessly tore them apart. A man sitting next to me leaned slightly toward me and said, "Matthew, if I were you, I'd want to find a hole to crawl into. Why stand between them like this?" I nodded in agreement, then loudly clapped my hands, attracting everyone's attention. "Congratulations. I wish you two could reconcile, be the perfect couple, grow old together, and have children soon." Only then did they remember I was still there at the table as Monica's legal husband. Stephen looked aggrieved, stood up, and raised his glass toward me. "Sorry, Matthew. I forgot you were still at the table. Monica and I have moved on. Don't take it personally. I apologize to you. I drink this to you." He was about to drink the whole glass when Monica quickly interrupted, speaking softly to calm him. "Stephen, you've already had so much to drink. Don't drink any more. Besides, it's just a game. Why bother apologizing to him?" She turned her head to meet my gaze, reverting to her usual demeanor. "Matthew, it's just a game. Don't take it so seriously." I didn't respond to Monica and simply smiled at Stephen. "The hotel upstairs has rooms. How about I help you book a room? Consider it a gift from me. Oh, and one more thing. I've got a little extra gift for you. This is her ovulation period. If you want a child, you better hurry." Chapter 6. As Monica's mouthpiece, Eva immediately launched into her performance. She grabbed a nearby wine glass and hurled it at me. "Matthew, watch your damn mouth." Crash. The glass shattered on the floor. Stephen quickly stepped in to smooth things over. "Matthew, don't get the wrong idea. There's nothing going on between Monica and me. He always said the same thing, just to provoke me into blowing up at Monica so the two of us would have a huge fight. Then he could swoop in, console her, and play the role of the considerate, long-suffering nice guy." I replied flatly. "Of course there's nothing going on between husband and wife." Monica's expression grew darker. "How many times do I have to tell you? There's nothing between me and Stephen. You keep making things awkward over these petty suspicions. Every time I bring you out, you only know how to embarrass me. Apologize to Stephen and to everyone, and I won't hold this against you." I met Monica's eyes and let out a soft chuckle as I countered. "Monica, and what authority do you have to hold anything against me, as an ex-wife?" As soon as those words landed, the air in the room seemed to freeze. Stephen's eyes flicked with amusement, a sneer playing at the corners of his mouth. "Matthew, are you still upset over the light show?" he asked, smug. I knew he brought that up on purpose, trying to make me the fool of the night. "Matthew, if it really bothers you that much, then fine, I'll apologize. I genuinely didn't know in advance. I found out when I arrived. It was just a welcome banquet. I had no idea it was your 5th wedding anniversary." Monica took a deep breath, clearly struggling to hold back her anger. "Matthew, grow up. Do you really think threatening me with divorce is going to get you anywhere? Stephen already apologized. Don't push your luck." "Yeah, seriously. Just say sorry and let's move on. Don't ruin the mood." Voices chimed in from around the table, deflecting all the blame onto me in just a few lines. I wiped my mouth, said nothing, and stood up to leave. "Matthew, stop right there. You weren't even home that night either. What right do you have to criticize me? You asked me for money because your dad was in the hospital and I didn't give it to you, so what?" My hand was already on the doorknob when I heard that, and I froze in place. Behind me, Monica's mocking laughter followed. As she spoke, she pulled a bank card from her bag and slapped it down on the table. "Isn't it just about money? Here, $1 million for the surgery. Now get over here and apologize to Stephen." I turned around and looked Monica up and down, my voice calm. "It was your dad who was in the hospital, not mine." With that, I turned and walked out of the private room, then drove aimlessly down the road. I couldn't figure it out. Signing the divorce papers should have been the easiest thing in the world for Monica. In fact, it would be a win for everyone involved, so why was she dragging it out? Before I came tonight, I thought she might sign the papers neatly, announce it at the dinner table, let her friends mock me a bit, and then accept everyone's blessings for her and Stephen. As long as she signed, I'd be free. Idle gossip no longer had the power to hurt me. When I got home, showered, and had nothing better to do, I opened WeChat out of boredom. The first thing that popped up was a post from Stephen. In the photo, Monica was clearly drunk, cradled tightly in Stephen's arms. The caption read, "Good night, my baby." And now, looking at this post, I felt nothing, not even the faintest reaction, not even a flinch. Chapter 7. The next 5 days passed in peaceful silence. I felt truly fulfilled. Finally, on Friday afternoon, I received the court's ruling, divorce granted. At that moment, I felt reborn. I was finally free. No more bowing and scraping. No more enduring Monica's rage. No more spiraling from Stephen's smug social media posts. When I clocked out, my mood was so good I almost dragged my co-workers out for a celebratory dinner. Dinner and KTV, total night out. I hadn't felt this happy in a very, very long time. Turns out, Even just hanging out with coworkers after work could feel so damn good. It was 11 p.m. when I finally got home. Just as I stepped out of the elevator, I noticed a figure standing at my front door. White dress, long wavy hair, under the eerie green glow of the emergency sign. She looked ghostly. Since I was driving tonight, I hadn't touched a drop of alcohol. The scene was enough to scare my clear-headed self half to death. I looked closer. It was Monica. She caught the stunned look on my face, something flickering in her eyes, unreadable. I asked sharply, "What the hell are you doing at my place this late?" She bit her lip, clearly surprised that my first words weren't concern, but interrogation. Then again, the reason she couldn't get in was because I'd changed both the lock and the passcode. She lifted her chin stubbornly and pointed at the door. "You changed the code." I couldn't get in. I almost laughed. I walked past her and unlocked the door with my fingerprint. I was about to close it behind me, but she grabbed the handle and yanked it open. "Aren't you going to invite me in?" Before I could reply, she had already stepped inside like she owned the place. I'd added a lot of new things these past few days. It was no longer the bare, empty place it had been when she last came by. She wandered through my apartment like it was still hers. The tapping of her heels on the hardwood echoed throughout the space. She wandered for a while, clearly searching for something. Finally, her eyes landed on the Rolex Submariner she gave me last week. It was still in the same condition she left it in. "Just pushed to the edge of the dining table. Found what you're looking for. Can you leave now?" I stood by the door, holding it open, my face expressionless. Monica hesitated, holding her head high and trying to appear composed. "I gave it to you. It's yours. And also, I never agreed to the divorce." I sighed, irritated, and dropped the courtesy in my tone. "The court's already ruled on the divorce. Whether you agreed or not doesn't matter anymore. And if the watch is mine, then how I deal with it is also my business." With that, I strode over, intending to throw the watch, box and all, into the trash. Monica panicked and tried to stop me, yanking it back. "You've been making a fuss for half a month over this. Isn't this something you liked?" Clatter. The watch box fell to the floor, the watch flying out along with the cushion, plus a photo. I bent down to pick it up, but Monica screamed and snatched the photo from my hand. She looked at me in shock. I didn't even spare her a glance. I tossed the watch and box into the trash and shoved it all toward the door. I looked up and said calmly, "Relax. I only saw the actual photo today. Now that you've got it, you can leave." I was done with this. Monica's eyes turned red as she trembled and asked, "The actual photo?" I nodded. "If you want the others, I can send them to you. The rest, you can print out and admire with your new husband." Her mind seemed to short-circuit for a second, and then she stared at me, furious. "You hired someone to spy on me." I was speechless. "You think someone like me, who couldn't even afford $1 million for surgery, has money to hire someone to tail you? Stephen, your charming prince, he's the generous one. He sent me plenty for free." Monica looked like she couldn't believe it. She stumbled back a few steps and collapsed onto the couch. From the dropped photo, it was clear, the angle could only be from a selfie. And that watch, she had Stephen help her buy it. She didn't even glance at it before tossing it to me. If I had taken the photo, it wouldn't make sense. The only explanation was Stephen. And from what I just said, there were more photos like this that Stephen had sent me. No wonder. Matthew. Stephen and you're innocent. I believe you. How many times do I have to say it? Isn't that the perfect boomerang? Monica left my place dazed and defeated. After closing the door, I sat on the couch for a long time. 4 years of dating, 5 years of marriage, 9 years total. You can't say there were no feelings. There were some. Thankfully, not much left. And soon, maybe none at all. Chapter 8. For the next 3 months, Monica didn't appear before me. Time had dulled all emotions, and gradually, I truly felt nothing anymore. Even when she showed up again at my doorstep today, I felt no waves, not even surprise or confusion. She was just a plain, unfamiliar face. I glanced at her once, then looked away, turned, and started to open the door, but Monica grabbed my arm. "From today, we're neighbors." I looked up, confused. Monica seemed to offer an explanation, as if she anticipated my reaction. "I bought this apartment because it's close to the office." I nodded, subtly pulling my hand back and preparing to enter. "Matthew, come have dinner. Don't you think it's good to get along with the neighbors?" She pointed toward her kitchen, where the smell of cooking wafted. I quickly waved my hand. "I won't disturb your dinner." "No, it's all mine. Don't you remember? Back in college, you said your favorite was sweet and sour ribs." That was indeed my favorite dish, even now. But food is food, and people are people. If this continued, I feared I'd grow to hate sweet and sour ribs. I followed the recipe, measured every ingredient perfectly. It should taste just right. However, a proper ex should stay as dead as possible. I turned and entered my house. A thought suddenly flashed through my mind. Monica moving next door, doesn't that mean we'd bump into each other all the time? And Stephen, Eva, all of them. Wouldn't it be the same? In that moment, I had this strange feeling, as though the ground was about to collapse beneath me, an inexplicable feeling of disgust, as though I couldn't go back home. I paused and tried to calm myself. First, I'd handle what was in front of me. The next day, at work, I was about to ask some colleagues about their shared apartments when I saw my team leader walking toward me with a well-dressed woman. The leader briefly introduced her, Monica, our new general manager, and then took her around to inspect the other areas. I stood frozen in place, my mind completely scrambled. What did this mean? What was going on? She had moved in next door the night before, and the next morning, she became my sudden new boss. Would she be bringing Steven or Eva in next? God, that would be a real nightmare. Forget it. Whatever. Work is work, and not everything can be smooth sailing, right? At least the first day went by without incident, and I clocked out and headed home. As I walked down the street, I suddenly heard a honking sound behind me. A pink sports car pulled up in front of me, and the window rolled down to reveal Monica's face. She smiled at me. Let's go. I know you can't drive today because of the license plate restrictions. I looked at the car, then glanced at my phone, waiting for a ride via the app. Number 123. Eventually, I opened the car door and sat down. During the rush hour, traffic wasn't moving quickly. Monica, sitting in the driver's seat, spoke up. The second part of The Legend of the White Snake is out. Let's go watch it before heading back. I had mentioned how excited I was for the second part of the movie before it was released. But back then, she had said, "What's the point of watching cartoons? I'm not going. I've already arranged to watch it tomorrow with someone." She glanced at the rearview mirror several times, then asked after a long pause, "Who? A colleague or a friend? A guy or a girl? A blind date?" She slammed on the brakes, turned her head to stare at me, and then the horn blared behind us. She quickly turned her attention back to the road. After a long silence, her voice returned. "Really?" I nodded. "Really? I don't need to lie about something like that." "Ha, a blind date? Really? You're in such a hurry?" "It's a big deal in life. Of course I'm in a hurry." The rest of the ride was quiet as we both went home. The next day, I arrived at the meeting spot. The woman had already arrived early. It wasn't actually a blind date with a stranger. The woman was actually a junior from my university, someone I had debated against in college. I didn't expect to run into her during a blind date, but we were somewhat familiar, so we decided to meet up. It was partly for our families, partly because we knew each other enough that the encounter wouldn't be awkward. Just as we sat down, an unexpected guest appeared in front of us. Monica, acting as if she owned the place, pulled out a chair and casually sat next to me. Jessica, sitting across from us, gave us both a look, as if waiting for some drama. Before I could say anything, Monica spoke up. "Jessica, right, nice to meet you. I'm Matthew's ex-wife. I thought I should clarify some things with you that the matchmaker might not have mentioned. Matthew and I still have a lot of unfinished business. The divorce was just an accident. You should leave, Jessica." But Jessica smiled lightly, unbothered, and shot back. "Monica, I thought you and Steven had already gotten together, finally made it official." Then she turned to me. "Senior, you know I'm studying law, and I handle divorce cases. If you need anything, feel free to ask. The legal fees are reasonable, but if..." Jessica's eyes flicked between me and Monica, then paused. "If the case is too outrageous, I can waive your legal fees, Senior. As a token of gratitude, just contact me whenever. I'm available 24/7. With that, Jessica grabbed her bag and left, leaving me speechless and Monica furious. She turned her head and demanded, "What's your relationship with her? You ruined my blind date and are now asking who she is." I sighed helplessly and stood up, preparing to leave. Monica, seeing this, mistakenly thought I was going to chase after Jessica. She quickly grabbed my arm and explained, "No, I came here to talk to you. Let's remarry." I yanked my arm away, stepping back, and coldly replied, "I'm not interested in a love triangle. It's not that. I'm not with Steven. I already know. He took my father's money and left. He only came back because he spent all of it and was looking for someone to pick up the tab. He even deliberately went to the hospital and made my father end up in the ICU." "Enough." I interrupted her impatiently. "Are you done? Or do you think this is fun?" "It's not that. I really want us to remarry. I don't have time for this. We're divorced, and that means we have no relationship anymore. Even if you've realized your mistakes, your past actions have left irreparable scars." With that, I strode out of the restaurant. On the way, I sent Jessica a message to apologize. She replied, telling me she had said those words on purpose and expressing her regret. Although we were from different graduating years, the big scene Monica and Steven made had long stopped being a secret. Even Jessica had heard the rumors many times. In the end, she congratulated me on escaping the torment and embracing a new life. Just as she wished, the new life was indeed beckoning to me. I went to work on time every day, a simple routine, keeping a polite distance from Monica at the office. Then, a new project came down from the headquarters, and Monica specifically requested me to be in charge. Tomorrow, you're accompanying me on a business trip. I nodded. Work is work, and personal matters are personal. I couldn't give up this opportunity for promotion due to personal issues. The company arranged the business talks at a resort spa located in a scenic area. After a whole day of discussions, I went back to my room alone and collapsed onto the bed. About an hour later, someone knocked on my door. Monica stood there in a bathrobe, no makeup, looking at me. Let's go soak in the hot springs. Without a moment's hesitation, I turned her down. A crack appeared on her beautiful face. Matthew, I know I've wronged you, but these past days without you have been so hard. I've missed you so much. I tried reaching out, moved next door to be your neighbor, became your boss, but you completely ignored me, didn't even look at me. I know you hate me. It's my fault, but can't you give me a chance? Her eyes were slightly red, full of hope as she looked at me. Perhaps it was my silence for a moment that made her believe there was still hope. She excitedly grabbed my hand, trying to enter. I felt no pity. I pulled my hand away from hers, stared into her eyes, and said, word by word, there is no future. It's absolutely impossible. Tears fell from her eyes. She stared at me for a long while before leaving, lost and defeated. A broken mirror can never be whole again. The cracks won't disappear. They will only deepen, forming a massive rift, one that can never be filled, one that will never vanish.